range of topics. You'll soon see. Our podcast is dedicated on giving you a platform to express your opinion and our opinion, share thoughts, experiences, ideas, and hear from a variety of perspectives. Join us as we dive into the latest news, pop culture, politics, and so much more, from rants about absurdity to modern life, as this is, and a deeper dive into issues affecting our society today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy and join us on a journey, an exploration. It's time to join the Rant Network. David, we've talked about transgender. We've talked about the society as a whole, and the only people being massacred in this whole thing, and I'm using the word massacred, is women's sports. And I don't think anyone's getting it. I think Adidas, by filing a lawsuit against BLM, is starting to get it, but I still don't think they get it. They're backing these crazy, trendy ideas.
Oh,
and David,
this is not the same thing. No, Stuart.
No,
you're off.
I'm way off.
No,
I can take it.
Right there. I'm going to stop you right there.
Stop me.
Let's be really careful here, okay? Because we're not talking about a trend. We're talking about a real societal situation here of where we have people who are changing their genders. You name it. This isn't the trend, and I'm going to stop you right there because it's the same way people say that people who are gay, it's a trendy thing. It's not. This is a reality. Okay, BLM, all this kind of stuff. It's not. I won't call it a trend. It was a movement that was flawed, but this is not a flawed movement. It's the people that are actually what's happening around this has flaws. All right, let's backtrack here. Why am I talking about it? Is because there's a person named Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney has now spent a year changing from a man to a woman, and as a result, he's a TikTok star. He has been invited to the White House to speak to President Joe Biden because all of a sudden this person is an expert. And, you've got now sponsors. Bud Light for March Madness brought Mulvaney in as the sponsor for Bud Light. And Nike, to top it all off, had a picture of Mulvaney in a Nike sports bra as part of this, this ideology. Now, here's the problem, Stuart, is that when you go to these corporations, and if you remember back, we've ranted about woke corporations with inclusivity and diversity and what have you, and it completely messes up a lot of things within an organization. See, Silicon Valley Bank is one example, but it just the messaging to the public, and the public is really grappling at at what's going on here. Now, I'm not against someone who wants to change gender. That's not it at all. Please don't misconstrue this. But to use transgender individuals as women, and that's what this has become, is upsetting, you said it, women who fought hard for their place, who fought hard. And one example is there's a University of Kentucky athlete. She's a former swimmer. She went up against Leah Thomas. If you recall, in a previous rant, we talked about Leah Thomas. And when the two of them finished tied for the win, they gave Leah Thomas the win because she was a transgender athlete. She, and I forget her name, and I'll have to look it up as when you're talking. But so here we are. We're asking ourselves, what's going on? So the VP marketing at Bud Light came out in the podcast, said, "Listen, our brand was in decline." And I was looking for, young people are the ones who adapt beer between the ages of 18 and 24. And she said, "I thought this would be a great idea." Nike, same thing. "I thought this would be a great idea." Inclusivity. That's what they're using. But in the same time, by going out this way, you've upset a lot of people because you're taking away what was women's opportunities. And you're saying, because we want to be inclusive, we're excluding women again. And here we are. Stuart, you talked about sports. It's in the corporate world. It's in other places right now where this percentage. Now, no one knows how many people are, considering are transgender. We don't know. And I'm not saying they shouldn't, be part of some sort of corporate sports, what have you. But there's so much undefined. And on top of it all, it's being forced down our throats. And this is what's creating a lot of the frustration, Stuart, in sports.
David, so first
Yeah.
of all, let's first get it back. Rules for me, but not for thee. Dylan Mulvaney's girlfriend is a 17-year-old. Okay. The Kentucky swimmer that competed with Leah is Riley Gaines.
Yeah.
Very coveted name in swimming, Gaines, no relation. And the women's right to vote, which is ratifying the 19th Amendment, was 1909. So in 100 years of the 250-year history of the United States, we are fucking women of this country. I don't think there's any other way to say it. Women's rights activists are fucked in the head if they don't take this side. Because women, for 150 years, fought for the right to vote. Now women need to fight for the right to have the women's bathroom. I mean, that's just ridiculous. A women's right to vote. I think that there's a bigger issue here that is probably more horrific. There are more rights for LGBTQ, TIA. I understand. I screwed up. There's more rights, more protective rights over that community than there are Asians in the North American market. In Canada, you can be Asian and be called all the names under the sun anywhere. But if you go to a certain neighborhood in Ontario, if you call someone a bad name, it's considered a hate crime. Right? So we're now oversensitizing the market towards a demographic that is so teeny weeny, it's mind-boggling. And again, women are being trampled on. Asians are being trampled on. Muslims are being trampled on, and it makes no sense.
Stuart, you got to be careful because, again, you did it. You said teeny weeny. Nobody knows the percentage, and frankly, I don't agree with like those remarks. You got to be careful, Stuart, because this is a highly sensitive. There are people who are looking, considering whatever. It's not simple. I don't want to denigrate those that are in this situation or are considering a gender change. What I'm upset about, and you talked about Riley Gaines, and thank you for bringing up her name. She went to San Francisco State University to talk about her, what she believes needs to happen in women's sports with respect to transgender. She was physically and verbally assaulted at San Francisco State. The police, this university police, did nothing. They had no idea what to do. Okay, she was barricaded in a classroom for 3 hours. She was punched, shoved, and hit by the protesters, all because she said that women's sports is not fair, right? That we've created a situation in which she's swam against, like I said, Leah Thomas, and she's not allowed to. We have to give to transgender women this, benefit or bonus or advantage, and she's saying, why? Why am I doing this? And she spoke very positively, peacefully, and whatever. And again, to politicize this whole thing, the moment you talk about transgender and, we should consider other alternatives, you're a racist, you're a hate person, you must be a conservative or Republican or a MAGA or whatever. It's been politicized. These are simple people who just want fairness. I don't know why it's so hard.
David, you're not going to understand because I don't think it follows normal logic that we've grown accustomed to. And I think that's part and parcel. I mean, the left will yell and scream, hey, you're censoring me, you're silencing me, yet they'll use the system to attack their political opponents. They won't allow free speech, right? Anywhere, if it's not their speech. So I think there's a double-edged sword. It's double standards over and over and over again. And I really think enough's enough. I mean, again, if someone wants to go with some cosmetic change, great, go for it. You're biologically what you're biological. That's it. I don't really think there's any other way to divide it.
Stuart, you're not an expert in this, and I totally disagree with you. I have met young people who've gone through a change, and it's not that simple. And I totally and utterly disrespect.
Okay, David, stop for a second. There's a woman
You're not a
who
medical
walks around
expert
that says that she is a chicken. No, it's a true story. There's a woman.
No. You see, this is the problem, and this is
What
why.
is the problem?
Because this is the problem. If you want to give fodder to those who are going to attack, you're giving it. Because you're denying the understanding that if you say it physically, if you're a boy, and you're a girl. It's not that simple.
No, you're not hearing me out. No, again, you're not listening to me. I don't care what plastic surgery, what because it's not plastic surgery. Those are the changes. It's plastic surgery.
But
Whatever you understand.
Why are they doing it? It's because Bruce Jenner changed. Why?
And she is vehemently opposed to so many of these things. And she is one of those issues. But again, let me, I called her a she. I didn't call her a he. Let me again say this. She, it, he, Bruce Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, says very openly, she's biologically a male. She's undergone a transition, and now she presents as a woman. That doesn't take the fact away that she is biologically a male, will always be biologically male, whether she eunuchs herself or not. It's no different. And that's where we have a problem. David, if someone's going to go and declare themselves a chicken, I hate to tell you, they're still a man or a woman. They're not a chicken. And again, it's as ludicrous as that. Biological is what you are. It doesn't matter.
I'm not talking about those who are, I'm not talking about those who like declare different genders. This is what we, and on all due respect, man, and there are times where I'll agree with you. And there are times where I think that you just need to do a little bit of homework, and you need to talk to the people who are there. And I'll tell you, it's a very difficult situation for many of them. Now, what I don't appreciate, and this is what Riley Gaines is fighting, and is that, we've created a new section in sports. We've created a new section in society in which, and I call it a section because can't call it gender and can't call it this, can't call it that. But I'm saying it's a new section in society, which once again marginalizes women, which once again sends a completely false message to people. And we're talking to young people. We're talking to young people who, like Bud Light might say they're going after 18 to 24. Come on. It's worse than that. And so you're telling women basically step aside, just step aside. And this is my argument of today's rant story. It's not about, you choose your choice or whatever, but like, for crying out loud, women cannot continue to be marginalized because another section, what's tomorrow going to bring? I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what, but Bud Light, Nike have done it again. They have done it again. They've continued to upset, women, society, by making choices without considering everybody. They've just decided.
The gay and lesbian community went to war I believe it started in the 70s, late 70s into the 80s. And they fought hard to be recognized. And you know what? It finally came to pass. And there it is. Those people are the pioneers in getting freedom that they claim has been robbed of them for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I have no problem with that at all. I think it's very simple. Someone that is gay, or whatever, binary, whatever the self-declared thing is, doesn't change the fact on what their actual true sex is. And I think that's where comes the problem. And David, I think they're overthinking it, overcomplicating it. What you decide to declare yourself, good for you. I'm very happy. You want to sleep with chickens, dogs, women, men, all the above. That's great. But that's where my understanding and my acceptance stops.
But that's not what I was trying to get at. You're trying to talk about transgender. I'm talking about how this is being shoved by the corporate world, in a way that just doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for many people. And if I'm being forced to, and Riley Gaines has to protect her life because she's being forced, then we have a problem. Stuart, wrap it up.
I agree. David, I'm going to wrap it up because, David, clearly, as you keep saying, I have no idea because I haven't had a conversation with someone in there. But all right, let me move on and get the last word. That's all for this episode. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Rant Network. We hope you enjoyed this conversation, gained some valuable insight. I'm still trying to figure that out. We appreciate your support. I hope you join us next time for more thought-provoking conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, because it's going to be Eastern, not Western. In the meantime, don't forget to follow social media, share your thoughts, and remember, we're always interested in hearing from you. On that note, David, time to say keep on ranting.